Hedgehog Hollow. Hannah and I are here today to show you the Altenew Our Family Scrapbooking Kit. They put it in such a pretty box. We kind of wish they'd put the label on the bottom, but there is some more information about Altenew on the bottom there as well, and different ways you can connect with them. They do also include a coupon code for you to use inside this box. We have taken it out for this, but there is a coupon code that included, and then you can buy it as this kit. You can buy the individual elements, so if there's something that really catches your eye, you can get that, or you can get it as an even larger kit that includes the embossing ink and embossing powders, and I'll link up there the video that I did in comparison of embossing inks. They do have a really lovely ink, and their embossing powders come in beautiful colours, so we'll link everything in that description below for you. Just hit that arrow that's just below where my nail is now, and that will bring up the description with all of those links. So let's dive in and take a look. So the first thing we have are journaling cards. Now this was meant as a scrapbook kit, but you totally could make cards out of it, and we'll be making some. You have all these kind of watercolored pieces that look really pretty on these journaling cards. So I'm just going to kind of scroll through them. Blues, pinks, purples, corals, really lovely colour palette in here, and a mixture of vibrant and more pastel things. There's also this die, so you can see here it cuts a frame, and then it has these two lines here embossed, so these dots here embossed, and this line here is embossed. So this again makes a really nice frame, and to give you some kind of idea of scale, it would frame one of those journaling cards perfectly, or maybe frame a picture, all sorts of things you could do with that. Also these wooden elements that you can paint, you can alter, you can do all sorts of things again with them. You could use them raw, which is what we're going to have a go at doing later. But again, lots of elements, roses, feathers, leaves, we've got home, hearts and stars in there as well. There's a roll of pink washi tape for washi tape addicts, and they Altenew do some really pretty washi tapes too. You've got a sheet here of enamel dots, so you've got pinks, purples, cornflower blue, teals, minty, and it kind of goes into that lighter greeny colour as well, and then in different sizes for you too. And you have two pop out pieces. These are all die cut, so you can see on the reverse they're easy to pop out, there's no fussy cutting involved. So this one here says love, and then once you pop this out you can use it as a stencil. You don't just have to use the letter. Keep those pieces. You've got life, you've got tags. This one says smile, this one here is XOXO, we've got together here, and then you've got some other tags. This one has the family tree, the camera, again those triangles are all popped out for you, the flowers, frames, and another frame that fits inside. We have some more chipboard elements. So these again are all die cut, you can see, and they go through the alphabet. Happens to have the second half of the alphabet popped up, and then you've got some exclamations, hashtags, all those fun things, and you can see the other half of your alphabet is on the back there. Also has these that you can add in, again with that wonderful watercolor feel, and these are also all die cut, so you literally just pop them out and put them straight onto your items ready to go. Also a mini rose stamp set. So this is one of their layered stamps. So you have the solid, the slightly less, and then the extra details. Every family has a story to tell. Here's ours. Really pretty stamp set. And as I mentioned, if you'd like just one element, you can get that individually. You don't have to buy the whole box if you didn't want to. And then in here you have a set of papers. All papers are double-sided, and you get two of each sheet. We have actually turned these around on half, so you get to see every side. So on the back of this one you've got the grey dots, which you'll see later. So you have those triangles that we saw earlier. You have stripes in kind of an ombre shading. You have stripes, a check pattern, more watercolor, beautiful circular kind of wreath piece there that you could put something really pretty in the middle there. Lots and lots of ideas. More watercolor. Love this, more of the flower sprays, flowers with the dark background that pop beautifully. More watercolors, and they're a really nice weight of paper. They're not too thin, they're more like a thin card, so they're really going to stand up to anything you might want to throw at them. So I'll keep kind of scrolling through. We have that Our Family that you saw in that element earlier. I love this watercolor wood. I'd buy tons and tons of that if I could just buy that sheet. There's that second side that I showed you earlier. We've got more watercolor pieces, something a little more speckled, and a geometric as well. So lots and lots of things in this kit. Huge value in this kit. As I mentioned, you can buy things individually, you can buy this kit, or there is an upgraded kit that includes the embossing ink and the embossing powders as well. So we'll link all those things in the description. But now let's create a project. So we've pulled out a couple of elements to create a really quick and simple card. This is a piece of watercolor paper, and so this is the textured side of the watercolor paper, and I have turned it over and I've applied a thin coat of gesso to it. So this is the heavy gesso in white, and I just dragged a brush across, really tiny amount. I'm not sure how much detail you can see, but it kind of peters out in places, and I did that because I wanted to create a little bit of texture. And I have here one of my stencil brushes. I have washed it out, although the bristles are kind of stained blue, and I'm going to use some of my Altenew inks to add a touch of colour. So I'm going to pick out my coral berry, I think, and my violet here. So let's start with those, and maybe a little bit of blush underneath. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit on to my stencil brush, and I'm going to just start applying some colour. This one is super, super light, so let's try something a little bit darker. And these are also great if you want to use that rose stamp that's inside of your kit. So you can see there, it's going to pick up a little bit of the texture from my gesso, and it just adds that little bit of colour in the background. And then I'm going to go even deeper with some velvet. And I just kind of dab my brush off to the side so I don't have too much ink. And I don't want too much of that dark on the outside. I kind of want more of a strip in the centre. I'm going to go back to my lighter colour, and I can blend those out. And because these are water-based, I could add some water and create different effects with them as well. I don't have to just leave them like this, but I just wanted some base colour down there, and I kind of like the thicker little bit of red over here. I'm going to pop my lids back on. And then I'm going to use a little bit of the Hero Arts Black Liquid Watercolour because that's what I had to hand, and I want to add some little ink splatters on there. So I grabbed this cute little fan brush that I bought the other day that I thought might be fun for adding ink splatters on, and I'm going to pop a little bit into that white area of my mat, and I'm going to apply just a tiny little bit of water to it as well from my spray brush, just to make it a little bit thinner. So I'm going to try picking up some more ink. So you can see here how it's adding just some little droplets. Really nice and fine because of those fine bristle tips on there. Not the day that I should be wearing a white shirt at all. And I should say that Hannah is here, kind of really nicely clearing up for me as well as we're going.
I noticed that she put the lids on her Altenews wrong, so I'm fixing that.
See, this is why you always craft with a friend. So I just kind of added some little speckles in there, and I'm just going to give this a second to dry because I don't want to smear that around. So just set this off to the side. I'm not going to use any heat or anything on it. I'm just going to let this air dry for maybe a minute or two. So whilst that's drying, I cut out that beautiful frame that you get in the kit out of the Altenew Birch Wood paper. So I'm going to lift this up and you can see they even get all of those embossed lines on that paper. You can probably also hear they're relaying our road outside. We waited all day to do this video, and now they choose the time at like 5 o'clock to come and lay it. But it means that you also get, when you cut out, the middle piece there as well, and that also has a really pretty beveled edge. So if you cut your photograph out, you'd have a gorgeous bevel edge in there as well. So I wanted to add a little bit of colour and texture to our birch wood. So I've grabbed my black Soot Distress Oxide, and I'm just going to really lightly drag it across in different directions because I kind of wanted it to look like I'd rubbed acrylic paint into it, but acrylic paint just didn't really pull out that delicateness of the Birch Wood. So this is such a light touch that I'm using here, and it means I'm going to get different areas. But I just wanted to tie all that black together, and it also picks up those beautiful embossed pieces. And I'm working on a piece of press and seal because I'm going to work with a white card blank next. So all I have to do is screw up my press and seal, and my glass mat is perfectly clean. And I'm a lazy crafter, so I don't want to have to go and clear it up between things. And so I've already pre-cut a piece of black cardstock. This is a Neenah card base, half 8.5 by 11, scored at 5.5. And then this matting piece of black is 4 by 5.25 inches. And I'm going to stick that on, and I'm using the Altenew double-sided tape runners. These give you more of like the glue dot style tape runner. It is really nice to work with. I do have some spares. So you can just, this piece, I always feel like it almost has some kind of magnet in it because it really kind of clips backwards and forwards. But you just literally go like this. They come in packs of 3. They are refillable as well. I'll show you on the one that's now empty. This piece just pops out and you pop a new piece back in there. The actual external pieces come in packs of 3. I don't think you can buy them individually. But again, they're just a really nice tape runner. I have lots of different tape runners that I'm kind of happy with, and depending on the project, really depends on which one I go for. You can see it has a slightly blue tinge, so I wouldn't be using this one with vellum because you would see that blue underneath. This is that panel we created. You can decide what your top and bottom is, and I think I kind of like it on the left. So I'm going to pop this down with that left piece. I'm going to offer it up with our frame. So I'm going to try just the plain, and then mistakes happen to us too, even though we craft all the time. Our home, we got it stuck to something and it kind of came apart. So there is sticky on the back though, which we didn't realize with these elements were that they had sticky on the back. So that kind of works out quite nicely, which means it's going to stick nicely back together. And that tear was underneath. So again, you're not going to see that my home is in 2 pieces. And I'm going to stick this down. I'm just going to use my regular tape runner. You could use foam, but I kind of feel the chipboard has enough dimension in there. The Oxide is a pigment ink, so it's going to take a little bit longer to dry, which is why you can see a little bit on here. I will just allow it to air dry, and I'm trying not to spread it around too much. I'm just going to wipe my hand off. And then just to finish this off, I'm going to use a couple of these enamel dots just to add that little bit at the end. And I'm going to go into a different colour rather than trying to match the pinks and things. So I'm going to pick out probably a dark blue in the large. And again, these have adhesives on the back, so this works really nicely. And maybe... And this is the great thing, by having it on this panel here, you can kind of offer up where you want it to be, see if you like the colour, what size you'd like. Nails do not help to pick them up. I'm going to pop this one down there. That just kind of gives it that finishing touch on there. So a really quick and simple card using your Altenew scrapbook kit. You can of course make scrapbook pages as well, but we wanted to quickly make a project to show you how gorgeous all these supplies are. Thank you so much for joining us here at Hedgehog Hollow. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stamp the bell so that you get notifications of future videos. Check out all of those links in the description below, and we'll see you again very soon. Happy stamping! Bye!
Bye!
So I wanted to quickly mention that after I had pressed off, I actually preferred it without that frame on. And so, you know that little bit of black I have up here? I literally just added a little bit of water onto my finger and then just rubbed it away. Because Distress Oxide is water reactive, you can see there that it's pretty much gone, and it just looks like it's part of these other spots that are there. So that is my finished card. I promise this is the end. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stamp the bell, and also give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video or maybe enjoyed this little funny anecdote at the end. See you soon. Happy stamping. Bye.
Always